Hello and welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, your go-to place for everything Rocket League with your hosts, K-Cube, AJ Binky, and Red. So lean forward, lock in, and get ready to go Boost Over Ball.
Well, if anybody other than
At least
three
we
of us
caught it.
was watching, that's rough. we talked to the ether for 15 minutes.
It happens.
It definitely does. That's what the growing pains are for in this one. But hello and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners new and old, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in for the second time tonight. I'm Kyle K-Cube. I'm joined by Red in the top right and AJ Binky in the bottom left. How's it going, guys?
And Winnie. And Merrick.
And Merrick.
And Dratini.
What a good name.
Yeah. Probably gonna get sued by Nintendo, but whatever.
But like we talked about earlier, but you guys didn't hear because we messed up the audio in the stream and the recording, or I messed up the audio in the stream and the recording. Today we'll be talking about CRL Fall 2024 Open number 1. There's a little bit of news about the FIFA eWorld Cup that we'll talk about. We're going to go through the roster rumors that we haven't touched yet, and there's kind of a lot, surprisingly, even though it's only been a week. And we'll finish off with, overtime. We have one question from the Discord, and any other questions that we get from chat from now until it is time for overtime. So without further ado, we're going to go a little bit quicker through this one this time, and that is the Open number 1 for CRL. You guys ready to go?
Let's do it.
We still ping everyone whenever we go live?
What?
We definitely shouldn't do that. We need to make an opt-in role for that.
But it didn't do... I set it up to not ping everybody.
That's what I thought.
I did it for the socials ping.
It doesn't ping for Twitter, but it does ping for Twitch.
I can fix that. It's Me6, and we have Me6 Premium, so it's fine. But anyway, so we have some CRL teams. These are the ones that made top 16. Northwood Blue, Concord University, Maryville, West Virginia, Davenport University Blue, Fisher Navy, Akron Blue, Ball State University, Illinois State, Harrisburg University, St. Clair Green, St. Clair Saints Gold, Rochester Christian University, LCU Esports Blue, Fisher White, and St. Edward's University. Some notable misses in the top 16 from mainstays that you saw from CRL last year being Boise State University, Columbia College, Stockton University, and San Diego State University. So, again, rewind a little bit quicker. CRL in this current format is based on a double elimination pool play system, with the top team from each pool qualifying into the upper brackets of a top 8 playoff, and the second place team qualifying to the lower bracket in a top 8 double elimination playoff system. So in Pool 1, we have Northwood Blue, Boise State, Davenport, Illinois State, Iowa State, Southern Miss, Drexel, and Rochester Christian, with Northwood Blue going through uppers and Davenport going through lowers. In Pool number 2, we have Concord University, Fisher White, Fisher Navy, St. Clair Green, Ball State, Oklahoma Christian, Borregos MTY, and Grand Canyon Purple, with Concord qualifying through uppers and Fisher Navy qualifying through lowers. It was mentioned last time by AJ, and I will highlight it this time. In Pool number 2, there's a little bit of friendly fire, with Fisher Navy eliminating Fisher White. In Pool number 3, we have Maryville, LCU Esports Blue, Akron Blue, Harrisburg, San Diego State, Cincinnati, Radford, Columbia College, with Maryville qualifying through uppers and Akron Blue qualifying through lowers. In Pool number 4, we have West Virginia, St. Edward's University, Ball State, Ole Miss, Tigers UANL, St. Clair Saints Gold, Cleveland State University, and Stockton. West Virginia qualifying through uppers and Ball State qualifying through lowers. So just a quick recap before we start to talk about some stuff. The teams making top 8 in the upper bracket are Northwood Blue, West Virginia, Concord, and Maryville, and the teams making lowers are Davenport, Ball State, Fisher Navy, Akron Blue. So I figure we can talk about one of the talking points right now, and that is the way that the Liquipedia page that you guys see, because it's in the Google Doc that we use to do our show notes, the way the Liquipedia is set up, it's very hard to see the qualification outside of the top 32 teams. I don't know how or why or who they lost to get there, or why they're not in the upper pool play. So what are your thoughts on the way that the format is set up and how they're running CRL Open 1?
I mean, it's very new, so it's interesting to see how it's all formatted. Obviously, with the first, with the one big conference, it makes it a lot harder for those teams outside that top 16 to make that break, right? There's a very large skill gap, as you can see from most of these results, where it's just a lot of 2-0s, a lot of 2-0s, a lot of 2-0s, maybe a 2-1 where the other team was taking a nap for a game, but otherwise it doesn't get very close until that semifinal matches start to happen. I mean it's good for competition, right? It's going to promote a lot of good competition. Hopefully the former West Conference teams can start to show up a little more. But otherwise, it's going to be the former East Conference showing out, and I mean, it's early. Still, I'm still forming my opinion on it.
Fair. It's also interesting to me to see best of 3 until
That's
lower
what I was
bracket
thinking.
semifinals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little odd. I understand you want to try to beat time constraints, but best of 3 for lower semis?
Maybe make it 3 days instead of 2.
There's an idea.
They're trying to avoid school nights, though, right? So.
I mean, they're doing Saturday and Sunday anyway. Like Friday night for day 1 of pool play, and then Saturday and Sunday when most people would watch. Like I feel like that's not not doable.
Yeah, that's fair.
And like other athletics at school get like priority. Like if you started matches at like 3 p.m. or whatever Eastern on Friday, like kids can get out of class or get like excused absences for competing. I mean they've made the top 32 of CRL.
Yeah.
But I mean that's just my personal opinion. But moving into day 2, so I guess it'd be Championship Sunday, but like the entirety of the playoff bracket in lower bracket round 1.
There he goes.
Oh, there's the first one.
Yep. Oh, he's gone too. Unknown user. Wow.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Oh, he's
There
back.
we go.
We
Welcome
can hear
back.
him, but we can't see him.
There he is.
There he is.
Oh my god. That's so dumb. And all the cameras come back and everything's fine and I'm back to normal and I dropped like 600 frames. It's fine.
There. Just
I love the
defeated.
face. Just the.
There, we're back.
Okay, we're fully back. But as I was
That's
saying,
funny.
in lower bracket round 1, we have Davenport taking down Ball State 3-2. We have Fisher Navy taking down Akron Blue 3-2, which then sets us up for our upper bracket semifinals with Northwood taking down West Virginia 3-1 and Maryville beating Concord University 3-1. We didn't really talk about it this go around, but like there's I'll talk about at the end all the the RLCS caliber or bubble players that are competing in CRL because it is the off season for RLCS. But moving into the lower bracket quarterfinals, we have Concord taking down Davenport 3-1. We have Fisher Navy beating West Virginia 3-2. We then have Fisher Navy taking down Concord University 3-2. And in the upper bracket finals, we have Maryville sweeping Northwood 3-0. And then we have Northwood Blue dropping into lower bracket final and beating Fisher Navy 3-1, which sets up Maryville and Northwood as a rematch for the grand finals, in which Northwood takes the first best of 7 4-1 to cause a bracket reset, which is kind of exciting. We haven't seen a bracket reset all year in RLCS because of the format change. And in the bracket reset, we have Maryville winning the grand finals and CRL Open number 1 4-1 in that second series. So as we mentioned before, the influx of talent is immense. Northwood's team is Hockey Zenil Creams. Maryville's team is Knight Relating Wave and Speed with their coach Calix. Fisher Navy is Sosa Adam Wondamike. Akron Blue has 5 Up. there's a lot of RLCS caliber players. Illinois State has Cosmic, the ones player who played in, with G2 at Gamers 8. There's Cam plays, CRL, like there's just a lot of talent. So we talked about, the Liquipedia setup. What are your guys' thoughts about the event overall?
I mean, to speak on the whole, with pros being on CRL teams, it's always been a weird gray area with CRL, because there's those that, make their gripes about it because it's college Rocket League. If there's already pros, like if they're already pro, they shouldn't be allowed. But at the same time, we're not to that level where we can just exclude the pros, because that's going to get rid of some really good players. At the same time, they're in college, so they technically at this point in time are allowed.
That's the point, though, isn't it? Is to give like the not pros a chance.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would tend to agree, but I'm also on the other side of the not pros for college, right? It's a weird gray area, right? If CRL got more popular, I could see a move for that, but at the same time, you would definitely get a lot of pushback, because at the end of the day, there isn't a ton of complaints around it, because I think everyone's just accepted that. But it is definitely disheartening for some colleges to try to get a team into CRL when there's already stacked pro rosters.
And it's interesting to see, there's, and no offense to Hockey Creams, Zenil and the other players that are playing in CRL, but it's you're not seeing Daniel or Beast Mode or Atomic playing in CRL. It's more so that, the less established pros that are doing that, right? Like we saw Lion Blaze.
Yeah.
Winning
Farming the smaller regions.
What?
Like One to Mike.
Yeah.
Farming the minor regions like One to Mike.
Exactly. But I mean, really, I think 5-Up and Hockey and Creams are probably the biggest mainstays of RLCS. We saw them make a couple of top 16s with Pirates on a Boat. It's an interesting topic. I feel like you could kind of do a whole episode on this, but in the meantime, if they want CRL to be an elite competition level and talent level, you need to allow the pros to play. But if you want it to act separately to RLCS, then it's going to be very difficult for these players to do both things at once if they're not set up in the off season. But it kind of seems like with this format that you've kind of shoehorned CRL into the off season for RLCS, just because you have the time now, and it's hey, we took away CRL for an entire year, so we better give it back to them. Let's just put it here. At least that's my thinking.
I agree.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is what it is.
This is very true.
Yeah.
But the second talking point that I'm intrigued to hear about is the format itself, right? So best of threes until lower semifinals, or until lower finals in upper final and lower final in pool play, being best of 5, and no best of 7s until the grand finals. So really the thing that I think about that is no timeouts for playoffs until the grand finals.
That sucks.
So
yeah, that's not great, but I can see why. Yeah. I mean, you gotta have a strong mental and a good coach who really kind of help those, because that's.
Coach can't even talk to him.
Not really.
You talk in between games. That's it.
Yeah.
You can say quite a bit in a minute. Can't attest to that. I've yapped multiple paragraphs in a minute.
I mean, it's interesting to me, though, that you're going to have a Championship Sunday playoff bracket, and it's not going to be best of 7. That just seems not right.
Yeah, definitely seems odd.
So, in my opinion, if you're going to do best of fives for playoffs, then do best of fives, but allow timeouts for CRL. That's like, because you got to afford the CRL coaches the same opportunity that you would an RLCS coach to make changes, to make adjustments, to call a timeout, to calm players down, to do what it is that they want to do.
Yeah.
Why?
Because you want the competition level of CRL to be as high as possible. You want people to watch CRL, and
yeah,
I mean, if you get a timeout in that, in some of the like upper bracket semifinals where it's 3-1, maybe you see a couple of game fives, which is really what the people want, unless you're like a diehard fan of one, university. Like I totally get that, but
sure.
you want to see these teams make a comeback. You want to see those game fives. You want to see the overtime champions field kind of situation. So like that's my thinking at least. And like you look at the grand finals, right? And it kind of like in the first series, Northwood ran away with it in games 3, 4, 5, and it just like maybe that's not the case. Maybe there's no bracket reset if there's timeouts. So
right.
From a competition level, I feel like they need to either change up the amount of time that they have to complete the tournament, which gives them some more time, so then maybe they don't need to do best of threes. Because for top 16, that seems crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I think what top 64 last season for RLCS was top. Like to get into top 64, it was best of 3, but then after that, it was best of 5. Does that seem about right?
This sounds right. I'm trying. I think it was like, I'm trying to remember. I think RLCS quals this season. I think once you got to top 128, which was when you were in the money, was when it went to BO5.
I think you're right.
I think as soon as you were potentially earning money, BO5, and then like I think like top 16 was BO7 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was around there. I know that. It was
so for major number 1, all matches are best of 3 up to the top 48 teams, and then it's best of 5 according to Wikipedia. And then it's the same, and then for in major number 2, it's all matches are best of 3 up to the top 192 teams, and then it's best of 5. So they expanded the best of 5 as the season went on, based on what the players' like feedback was. So, like they've shown a willingness to change the not like change the format, but like change the amount of games that people are required to play in RLCS. Yeah. So I'm kind of hopeful that they will do the same thing for CRL, because I think that would only increase the level of competition that you see. And I don't know, like I can't say off the top of my head what kind of upsets we saw to get into the pools, because it's best of 3, but like we saw Carmine Corp not make a regional because of not a best of 7, right? And I think it's harder for upsets to happen in that. So I think if you're a smaller school, you're hoping they keep the best of 3s, but if you're a bigger mainstay in CRL, then you're hoping for a best of 5 or a best of 7. It seems like.
Yeah, most likely leaning towards that B5. I know I've heard plenty of higher level players gripe about BO7s too early in tournaments because it's a lot of games.
Yeah.
Especially if you get that one series where you can't catch a break, you go to game 7. And then as soon as that game 7 is done, you're rolling right into the next one because you're already at that hour for the next series. So it's just it definitely takes a toll.
It certainly does, and it's got to be more of a toll and more of a mental drain the further into the tournament you go. But also at the same time, like it's a little bit different for college, but like that's why they get paid the big bucks, in scholarship money to go there. Like you got to perform, you got to,
Oh,
have you been watching this MLE drama?
Oh, the hubs.
The hub server.
And he's back.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Yeah. AJ came back first. Red didn't come back yet. Oh no.
Hey.
Is he just straight up not? He's just straight up not in the Video Ninja.
I'm definitely here.
He'll come back. Yeah, I see him.
I don't.
Maybe try refreshing.
Yep. Okay. He's back now. He's back now.
Not visible, unknown user. Oh well.
Wait, am I good or no?
Yeah. No, I can see you in the Video
we're
Ninja.
good.
I'm putting you back. Back in the. Maybe. Okay. Now you're back.
Alrighty.
Okay. I fixed it. Don't worry. He's behind the border before anybody says anything. I accidentally dragged and dropped that. But so then the last question that I have, and maybe this is a controversial conversation, maybe it's not. I mean, I know where I stand. I'm not sure where everybody else stands on this one, but what are your thoughts on a school having multiple teams making the top 16 for CRL?
Hate it. Absolutely hate it. I am a very much a person against it. I think I'm not a fan of it because you're allowing these universities that have the money to give to these Rocket League programs to essentially become their own Alabamas and Tennessees, and so both of those teams lost this week. But but you know they're allowing these teams to become these dynasties, and it's being able to hoard these players, right? Because they're going to get the money for it. I guarantee most of those players at that level are not there for college. They are there because they're getting a full ride or close to near to a full ride, and are able to,
Potentially get
ball
some
out in Rocket
NIL
League
stuff too.
Yeah, like it's, I hate it. Because if we only allow one team, one, you either are that main team, the A team, right? That makes it. They make it through. They're chilling, or you're that B team that's always fighting that for that spot, and either may have to knock someone out of that A team, or they go elsewhere. You spread out the player base, and all the power players get spread out to other schools, and you're bringing in more schools, bringing in more attention to CRL.
So
when are we going to see a one school top 4?
Yeah, it's.
I mean, you saw Akron a year and a half ago. They pulled in 14 SSLs.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, hell, my college played Maryville's. I think it was either their B or C team, and their B or C team is all 2K SSLs.
That's crazy.
Like, that's a wild concept in my head. Like, what, you are a 2K SSL stack, and you are deciding to be a B or C team behind literal pros. Like, what?
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
But hey, it's if you're getting a bag for it, I guess I understand, but for like competitive growth and integrity, I just feel like it's not the move.
I mean, I would tend to agree.
Yeah, it's not on them though.
That's
no,
true.
It's not them. I mean, if the system's there, use it.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean I necessarily agree with it.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, I feel like it's the same concept as like this is CRL's version of you can compete in the open qualifiers for any region, despite like.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Despite where you live.
Yep.
Right, because like last season in CRL, we saw 2 Northwood teams make CRL league play in East. And you
Yeah.
know, in this iteration of CRL, there's 2 Fisher teams, there's 2 St. Clair teams. I know there's multiple Akron teams that didn't there's more that didn't make it. Northwood's second team didn't make it this time, but what's to prevent them from popping off and making it next time, right?
Nothing.
Taking spots away
Unfortunately.
from your Boise State, your Columbia College, your Stocktons, your Iowa, your San Diego State, Cleveland
Iowa State. Don't put that on Iowa. They didn't earn that.
I said Iowa State.
No, you said Iowa that time.
Oh, sorry. How could I?
No, you're good.
How could I mess that up? And can't forget Ole Miss. Lunar gonna go farm the region. But I'm surprised that we're all aligned on this one. I feel like we've had this conversation before and we weren't. Maybe it was Atomic that was like, yeah, I mean, if they qualify, they qualify. Doesn't matter how many
That seems like
teams.
an Atomic thing to say.
It kind of does. But I mean, I just think I think you're taking exposure and experience and playing time away from different schools, and really you're just trying to showcase the schools in CRL and the talent that they have. It's not how much money does Dow Chemical have to pay for Northwood to have 2 teams, or something similar.
Yeah.
Maybe shouldn't have fired like that, but
They brought it upon themselves.
leave it in. Editor, leave it in. That's me. I'm the editor. But was there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about with CRL, or any thoughts about the format or anything like that, as we will get ready for Open number 2, which will be this weekend, the 12th and the 13th. So not a lot of turnaround time for these schools, and we will have to wait and see what happens with that.
Should be good.
Yeah. Excited. Ready for it.
Sweet. So next up, it's a small update for the FIFA E World Cup. For Rocket League specifically, Brazil has concluded their mixed qualifier. Mixed being some invited teams and some open qualifier teams to try and represent Brazil in the FIFA E World Cup. And to pretty much no one's surprise, Team Furia will be representing Brazil. That's Yan, Drafinho, and oh my god.
Lost. No.
Yeah, it is lost. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, how are you feeling lost here, guys?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been
It's like,
it's been
what's
a
going
day.
on?
Lost, Drafinho,
Yeah,
and
fair.
Yan will get the opportunity to represent Brazil for the FIFA E World Cup. So congratulations to them. In their march to their mixed qualifier win, they beat Loud, who that roster was picked up specifically to try and compete in FIFA E World Cup, and also Ninjas in Pajamas in the grand finals. So congratulations to Furia, to Drafinho, to Lost, and to Yan, who will be, again, representing Brazil. So, everybody ready for that time again?
Oh yeah, is that
That time that Brazil beats every team and wins the World FIFA Cup or whatever.
Might be.
Is that what we're talking
It
about?
might be that time.
Yeah.
But, and maybe one of these days
Press
I'll,
X for doubt.
maybe one of these days I'll figure out, maybe I should just make it like a soundboard.
You could.
I could, because then you guys could hear it too, because it would come through my microphone.
That would be the way
Yeah.
to do it instead of delay. Because I have no idea when I should stop jamming and start talking.
I mean, that's fair. That's very fair. Yeah. Well, maybe if we can talk for a minute or two, I'll be able to set it up so that it does do that.
Buy time.
I mean, that kind of what I'm doing. But
See here. What was I talking about? I mean, football this week was kind of crazy. I'm so glad my team had a bye week, because we probably would have got upset too, because everyone was getting upset apparently.
No kidding.
I was like, oh my god, that Vandy game was insane. Top 10, just best games of the season.
Agreed.
And then Tennessee just blew up, and Mizzou, oh my god, A&M just blew Mizzou out. Wild. I mean, I knew Mizzou was kind of rough because they almost lost to this Vandy team, and they should have lost. They barely won an OT because no one could kick a field goal. But yikes! Is that enough time?
We're close to it, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go get a potato while we wait.
You're gonna
I'll be
what?
back. Go get a potato.
That was
potato.
a sentence that I was not expecting.
He's gonna get a tater.
Fair.
Ready? Hyped. I got some good news for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Good news. Maybe not so much for NA, but I got news.
Oh, yeah. We do have quite a bit of good news. / some news.
Like cutting in it.
Yeah, no, I know. I need to. No. Stop. Remove hotkey. Okay. I did it. Red is a color.
Correct. It is
Yep.
indeed a color.
Oh my. Set hotkey. Boom. Okay. So now, if I go into Discord and I turn off noise suppression, which I did do, so tell me if this is cutting in and out.
It had like a couple cuts, but nothing like major.
Okay. So, but it was good. Like you could hear it.
Yeah, I could hear it.
Okay, that's really the important part here. So that is fine, but I can also maybe I can. Oh, I can. Let's do this. Okay, we turned it up a little bit, so then maybe Discord won't cut it out at all. But that
Anyways.
should work.
We'll use that for next time, but without further delay, it's roster rumor times, and we got some news. Let me tell you, it is off season. Red's roster rumors is hot, it's cooking, it's busy. All right, starts off. To follow up from last week, if you weren't listening,
Or have been living under a rock.
EU is building a super team. You thought the Golden State Warriors, when they had the squad, was crazy. This is.
You thought
This is
BDS was
doomsday.
a squad? Pfft.
Yeah, you thought BDS was a squad. Vitality is on the verge of completing the signings of Monkey, Moon, and Exotic. And on the verge, I mean, it's like a couple days away. Exotic and Vitality have reached a verbal agreement, while Monkey Moon is still in Geneva, trying to finalize his departure before he moves to Vitality. So it is pretty much done and dusted at this point. It is going to be Zen, Exotic, and Monkey Moon running with Team Vitality. Also, they're expected to sign Casio as the coach to replace Fairy Peak. This squad looks terrifying. As an NA fanboy, I am terrified. As a Rocket League fan, I am excited because this team is going to have a high bar set, but I think they're going to be able to reach. Moving on, though.
So wait, that's 5 world championships among the players on the roster. That's more than Turbo now.
I mean, yes, but we're taking 3 players combined into 1.
Yep, and a coach. 3 players and a coach. Yep.
3 players and a coach.
Just one more than Turbo.
Yeah, just one more, which is wild.
I know. Sorry,
But-
I had to throw that in there.
Speaking of BDS, Team BDS is not, you heard me correct, not expected to field a team to start RLCS 25, which is wild.
Good.
How do you go from fielding, I mean, as a G2 fan, hallelujah, amen. My prayers have been answered. We could never lose a BDS again.
Yeah, let's go back to Texas this Worlds.
From a RLCS standpoint, what is happening? I get it, you lost your roster, but you were world champions, so you can't say you didn't have the funding, right?
Probably still lost money on it.
Like, I mean, I hate, love to see him go as a G2 fan, hate to see him go as a Rocket League fan. Hopefully, they decide to come back at some point. I know EU is going to miss them dearly. Moving on, though, we have some tryout informations. We have some word on the grapevine on some teams trying out players this season. Gentlemates have been trying out combinations of Seiko, Juicy, Radosin, Itachi, and Oski. Seiko has been a part of every combination so far, so it's looking like they're going to continue to center around Seiko for this coming season. Obviously, some notable names in there, Juicy and Radosin, the former Vitality member that has finally been given the boot. Going across the pond back to North America, TSM is looking like they're going to pair up with Creams and Hawk. Why I can never pronounce his name because I always want to say Hawkser.
I am like 99% sure it is Hockey.
Hockey, okay. With Creams
Yeah,
and
I think
Hockey, and then they've been trying out with Andy, Oath, Crispy, and Zanil. Dig and Toss looks like they're going to be sticking with Stizzy due to Chicago and LJ departing from the roster. And they have so far tried out with Appjack and Chronic, Oli and Joryus, Appjack and Nos, and then Jack and Oli. So definitely some interesting names to play with Stizzy there. I'm curious to see how that turns out. Obviously, these are just tryouts. These could literally mean nothing. And then finally, SSG with the lone member Hoxer looking to find new teammates as well. Is currently trying out Com and Koifer, or Kofer, not Koifer, Hawk and Wavy. And then there was a tryout without Hoxer with Nolly, Talk, Kofer. So it looks like they may not be fully set on keeping Hoxer, although I don't see why they wouldn't. He played fantastically last season. It would be a great pickup for another team if he does leave. But again, these are just tryouts, so nothing set in stone anytime soon. But it's the off season. Although it's coming quick, we got RLCS is coming back in just a couple months.
So,
but
also I feel the need to preface the tryouts. These are tryouts. No one's been signed for the tryouts. No one has confirmed, confirmed that they're hey, this is what's gonna stick. These are tryouts that we've heard about.
This could literally mean nothing in a week,
right? Hoxer, Talk, and Wavy could have played, could have tried out 5 times, and they're like, you know what, nah, it's not gonna work. Or what happened to NRG, right? You have Frosty, and then a week before the season you don't have Frosty, right? Things change so quickly, and there's still so many dominoes to fall, especially in NA, because it seems like the only team that's not changing in the world is G2. So, there's a lot of, potential even, region transfers, Joria's may stick around. Nas might stick around. He might also go to EU. Appjack seems like he's sticking around. Noli seems like he's sticking around. But, there are so many, moves to make and teams to build and collapse before the season starts. So I feel like we have to preface that, even though this is kind of interesting and cool news that we get some insight into some tryouts, but they may be something, but they also may be nothing. So I feel like we feel the need to say that one.
Yep. But that is it. Obviously, we're gonna have more. It is off season. The roster rumors are never going to stop, and even during the season, they never. So. Yeah. I'll wrap it up there. Gentlemen, I believe it is OT next.
It is time for overtime. So we'll start out with AJ's question that he put in chat because it is a good one. Why are baked potatoes so good?
It is a fantastic question. They are delicious. Now, the better question is, what style of? Because there are some different styles that are very good.
Like toppings?
You do toppings or just how you prepare it, right? You know,
Fair.
you
You could,
Slice
cut it.
Little butter, little sour cream, you're good.
Fair. Can't go wrong with the class.
I tend to disagree on the sour cream, but that's not because it doesn't taste good, but because I can't have it.
Oh,
True. Yeah. And
I'm
you're
here
gonna
to
say
say-
all the things that I can't have now.
I'm straight
I
up
am
just
a
some
sour
salt and
cream
pepper and butter.
hater. I'm not. I can't. I don't. I'm not a fan of sour cream.
Fair.
That's fair.
Although I will say, and sorry AJ, but with some bacon on it, pretty good.
Oh yeah. Little bacon bits, little cheese.
Yeah.
Mm.
But
So good.
now this might be a long-winded answer. This might be a short-winded answer. I'm not sure. But this question comes from Storm465 on Discord, and he said, "Why do plateaus exist?" And I pressed him. I was like, "You mean in ranked or like in ability?" He said yes. So
Okay.
I think he means like either of them or both of them. So I guess we'll like take turns going through and like, why do plateaus exist?
Okay. Let's see here. This is from at least what I believe with plateaus. Is it depends on your focus, right? If you're really focused on a rank, you are going to plateau in ability because you aren't going to be into really focusing on improving a mechanic or improving play style. You're going to be more focused on just making sure you win, so that's going to focus more on the adaptability. Now, if you focus on ability, you plateau in rank or go down because you're more focused on your personal performance, mechanical performance, or result. Yeah, it's kind of like two sides of a coin, yin and yang, right? I always am a big fan of finding balance of the two. Why do they exist? I think it's more so just how Rocket League is. That's how sports are in general. Teams will plateau. They can't always have that success, or if they do, they will plateau at that success. Right. I think it's more so just like what your focus is, especially with Rocket League. There's so much you can turn it into to improve, whether it's mechanical ability, rotations, knowledge, speed, adaptability, working with teammates, working with different play styles. There's so much to the game. I think that's because there's so much as well that leads to more plateauing than most sports.
That's a damn good answer. AJ, you want to follow that one up, or you want me to follow it up?
I got it.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the entire point of having a ranking system is like so everybody plays people that are at their own skill level. Like that's why ELO exists for chess. That's why any ranking system exists. Is because with everybody playing enough games, everybody gets to their plateau, and some people's plateaus are different than others, and that way everybody plays it against players that are the same rank. Like that's the entire purpose of any ranking system.
Fair.
Is just playing against people that are as good as you.
I mean that makes as good a sense to me as anything else. But for me, at least, to steal from Sunless Khan and one of his older videos is like the cycle of a Rocket League player, right? You're peaking, and then all of a sudden there's the crash and burn phase afterwards, and then there's like the I'm gonna grind the game and get better, and then it leads back into your god phase, your peaking phase, right? And so like in Rocket League, if you're not actively trying to improve, you're plateauing, and you know I don't know that we've still yet to find the skill ceiling, right? You know, people are inventing new mechanics and finding out new things seemingly every couple of weeks. So if you're not looking to improve either in the things that Red talked about, like rotations, mechanics, chemistry, things like that, then you're not backsliding, but you're plateauing. You're not you're staying stagnant. And so like that's one of the most fun and also the most infuriating things about Rocket League is like if you're not, actively trying to go forward, you're not really going anywhere. And that's, that feeds into why an elo system exists, right? And why, people will grind to try and get better because they want to be a higher rank than what they currently are. But I think that's a fun question.
Yeah, very good question.
But
why do people want to be higher ranked than they are?
Serotonin from the higher MMR number or the rank
Yeah.
icon.
Serotonin, the competitive drive,
Yes.
right? I at
Like
least
if
for
they-
me, I don't really play any like, competitive sports anymore because really that avenue for me. Because I'm good at them. I couldn't go play professional.
Play
ball.
pickleball.
Yeah, I could play pickleball with all the 50-year-olds.
It's easy.
But with
50,
Rocket League, especially,
there's
it's
80-year-olds that are
this is something
ridiculous.
I can sit here and all it is I just gotta put the time. It's not really the only like time constraint necessarily is my reaction time getting because of which is crazy. Rifle. But I think that's one of the reasons. It's that avenue for people to still. I mean, that's the same with a lot of competitive. It's that avenue to compete to try to be the best, to kind of prove your own worth to yourself. Like that are highly invested in it. They put a lot of pride into being.
Fair. I mean, it's the serotonin for me still, but
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. Yeah. Big number means I'm good.
red icon means I good.
Yeah, or white.
Yeah. Well, that's unattainable right now. So
Yeah.
red icon is his.
Yeah, plateau in red.
Yep. I'd rather plateau in red than purple.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
fair.
one day. But since there's no more questions in chat, did you guys have any other questions that you wanted to ask before we wrap up for today?
Nope.
Good here.
Okay. Well, with that, we'd like to thank everyone so much for listening. We'd like to remind you to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, join our Discord, and rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts, as it really helps us continue to grow our show and expand our platform. Make sure to check us out on YouTube. All of the video podcasts will be available on YouTube, so give us a subscribe, follow, leave a comment. Check out our TikTok and our merch store. All of these links and more can be found on our website at boostoverball.com. And from us here on the show, as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball.
Thanks for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website at boostoverball.com.